What is going on, folks? Mike Singer and Mike Goolsby with this week's Mike Goolsby Show, talking all things Notre Dame football and recruiting. We are live on a Monday night, it's December 12th. Off season means we're not streaming every single week like we would on Sundays, but hey, we're going to come at you with some hard-hitting Notre Dame content. Mr. Goolsby, how you doing today, man?
I'm good, buddy. I'm coming to you from my new podcast studio, dude. So,
yeah, looks great.
yeah. So we're moving up. No, but this is just a spare bedroom. But I was tired of the tiny house comments and things. My parents gifted me this Notre Dame panoramic stadium shoot a couple of years ago. So finally put that to use. So it's a new era in the Mike Goolsby Show.
Yeah, it's a big budget show. ESPN was calling about how they can get like us on this. So Jay Carr already said bigger room for Mike. Would love to see it. Yeah, folks, please do hit the thumbs up on this video. Of course, subscribe to our channel for all the Notre Dame football content that you want. We're always churning out really good stuff on Notre Dame football and recruiting. Just getting to the bowl game, Mike. Notre Dame, South Carolina, Irish are about a field goal favorite right now. What do you think about this matchup, Mike? How significant is this game for you?
God's honest truth, brother, couldn't care less.
Why?
It's like, well, to me, as I was thinking about this, if we win, we go 9-4. It looks better on paper than being 8-5 to wrap the season up. I think it'd be nice to get Coach Freeman a win, but me personally, in my heart of hearts, I do not care. What I'm looking forward to, please, is I'd rather lose a game and see what we have in terms of young players, potentially lose a game, but let's see what we've got in terms of the youth in the building versus winning a game and it's just kind of a ho-hum performance, and then we have to wait the entire offseason to see what you have kind of in the cupboards in the way of like young talent. So to me, I'm not that I'm praying, but close to is I just really want to see young players rolled out at a number of different positions. To me, this game is all about Tyler Buchner,
Yeah.
His return, hopefully with the run game this time around, with some interior pass protection this time around, and the kid really gets a fair shake, and the coaching staff and the fan base gets a fair, decent opportunity to make a fair assessment of him.
Yeah. And _VR says, don't you think this game is important for evaluating Tyler Buchner? I mean, I absolutely agree. It's I don't know if like a showcase or tryout, those aren't the right terms, but it is a good opportunity for the staff to see him because, as you and so many have said, Mike, the offensive line was not at a point the first two games of the season that it's at now. And it seems like everyone on that starting five is going to play. So it's going to be the offensive line that Pine has had since he's been starting. So yeah, I think it's a great little opportunity for Pine for Buchner to show his stuff. And
yeah. You mentioned Pine, right? Just a little slip up there, but it's like I think once your starting quarterback kind of left, he's in the transfer portal. To me, everything's somewhat up for grabs. And yes, it's an opportunity to evaluate Tyler, give it a whole season being up in the press box with his coaches. And again, he's got a secure line and we've got a running game to boot. And it's just been fascinating, Mike, on the message boards to observe the back and forth. You've got pro-Buchner people, you've got anti-Buchner people, you've got some people who are somewhat in the middle. It's a lot like politics, if I'm honest with you. And it seems like people come up with almost anything to overly critique Tyler. It's like, well, if the offensive line was super leaky interior-wise and it was super porous, why wasn't he checking out of the protection and all this stuff? And it's just like, oh my God, So I'm just really hoping that Tyler comes out and shines, gets a chance for redemption. I've heard reports where Angeli's going to get a little bit of run as well. So that'll be fun to watch. But yeah, I'm going into this bowl game. I don't really care what the outcome is, as long as we get to see some young talent get on the field. That's that's what I'm most excited about, no doubt.
Yeah. Yeah. You mentioned politics. So let's dive into politics. I'm kidding. But yeah, I don't know what I said that was slip up earlier, but I always slip up. So that's just normal for y'all's boy singer. Yeah, you mentioned the the whole Pine versus Buckner thing is like politics, and says the guy who's very much on the Buckner side of things. So, you know,
Yeah, I can't help it. I can't help it. I can't help it. I can't help it. I am 100% biased towards Tyler, and I think that any counterpoint that anybody's going to present, oh, he's not accurate. That's like, okay, well, the game and a half we got a chance to see him play. There's people sitting in his lap. He's getting hit in the chin. Half the time he steps back to throw, and then in addition to, we're kind of asking him to be our lead back as far as the running game in both of those games. So like the kid's trying to get air. It's just they put a lot on that kid. And as I've said over and over and again throughout the course of the season, I felt like they kind of did him dirty in terms of trying to break him in as your new starter. So really excited for Tyler. I've heard his confidence is up in terms of like taking ownership of the position. So that is the number one thing that I'm looking forward to most. And then again is, interior line. Can we roll a couple new faces through there? Is Notre Dame Phantom going to get a chance to see, Rocco Spindler? We're going to see a little bit different rotation at the linebacker spots, a little preview of who's our Viper next year. These are all things that I'm looking forward to. And again, if we lose the game, but we play a lot of young kids, so be it. That's where I'm at.
Yeah. Mike, I appreciate you just saying, look, I'm a Buckner guy, a Buckner bias. Like I really don't like when media folks and talking heads just aren't honest about their bias. Like I'm honest about my bias. I'm very honest, and I'll pat my back. When I'm very right. Joe Alt, like that's I
no, you nailed that one. You nailed that one.
But then there's been many I've been wrong about. Many. Jaden Bellamy, I was very wrong about. I thought,
and I was right there. And I was right there. I was right there about Jaden Bellamy.
You were right.
So again, I haven't wavered on Tyler. I think that there is validity to the injury concerns and the durability. No doubt, I will absolutely grant you that. But as I've said, the workaround there is stop with the quarterback runs. I mean, throughout Brian Kelly's tenure, we've seen quarterbacks getting nicked up, carrying the ball like a running back. And as I've said on this show, guys that look like me are hitting quarterbacks in the run game. They're fitting on them as if they were an Audric estimated 235-pound back. So throw that out, sprinkle in more spontaneity in terms of Tyler 1-2, pull it down and run. And then your protection's better. So all of those things combined, I think the injury concerns should be substantially less.
Yeah. We had a comment, somebody asking if we're going to be at the bowl game. I will be in Florida, but I will be at the Under Armour All-America practice that day. So I don't even know where I'm going to be at for the game. I don't even know if I'll get to watch it. I have no idea. So
do you want to go?
To the Gator Bowl? Maybe, yeah. I probably would have gone, but I can't go.
But you're not, yeah. So if you had the occasion to go, the opportunity to go, you're kind of like, yeah. That's how, that's kind of what we're saying. And overall about the game,
yeah. I mean, being based in Atlanta, Jacksonville's, it's like a 3-4 hour drive or something. So but yeah, I'm busy, but
I won't be going to the game. I think I'm going to try and finagle a way to get over to Ireland for the week 1 game. But no, I have bad memories of the Gator Bowl. We played 2002. We played Phillip Rivers and NC State, and your boy broke his collarbone in that game. So I don't think I'll be going. I don't want to stir up any bad memories.
Screw the Gator Bowl.
Same.
Joey says, Mike, with Tyler being in the press box while being injured, how much do you think his football IQ has improved? Do you think that matters?
Yeah, substantially. That's a great question. It's obviously it should be a great perspective and a unique opportunity in terms of like his development that most quarterbacks don't get a chance to enjoy. I think getting in to kind of Coach Reese's mindset and understand a holistic approach to an offensive game plan. My biggest concern about Tyler, and you could see it, especially that Ohio State game with that environment, is everything was like hurried. He was rushed. You could tell he was like anxious um, in terms of like his play speed. And I always call it play anxiety. So yeah, I think getting a chance to kind of look over Coach Reese's shoulder throughout the course of the season and really understand the why of a game plan should absolutely be a big part of his development. And maybe just glean some of that confidence. I think, Coach Reese carries him. He carries himself. He's a confident dude, a confident young coach, and I just hope that some of that kind of rubbed off on Tyler for sure.
Sure. Yeah. Susan just says, oh, "Wow, everyone is on the game. I'm living the upside down." I think it's Notre Dame football. We're gonna watch and be interested in it, but it's just, yeah.
What is it, Mike? Is it Staples, the office supply company? They have the easy button. Is that right? Is that Staples?
Correct.
It's sometimes in life, and this is one of those scenarios, you wish you just had a fast forward button. Like, can we just fast forward to get to next season? That's how I feel. Can we get through signing day? Let's hold our breath. Let's get through signing day. That's kind of like my approach. Not necessarily an easy button, but a fast forward button. Like, nobody really cares about the game. Let's see some young players. Let's see what we have waiting in the wings. But yeah, I mean, if we go into that game and we roll out with the exception of the quarterback, if there's no real changes, I'll be disappointed, truly. And like I said, I mean, Maris Leofau, I'm on record. I'd be shocked, jaw on the floor, if he starts. I'm kind of excited to see a glimpse into the future. We're at that Viper position, who's slotted in there, who rotates in there. Jordan Botelho is a type of kid that I think if he is the guy and he knows he's not going to get yanked or rotated out, and you just kind of give him a few series in a row, I think Jordan Botelho is the type of guy that can surprise some people. So I'm rooting for him. But there's no obvious storylines here, Mike. I mean, I guess we're playing the SEC. That's kind of a thing. But it's just kind of, it's just.
They have Notre Dame guys. You don't have Pine and Mayer, right? You're two like kind of mainstays on offense. They're out. South Carolina has a bunch of players out. It's just different. These are like different teams almost. So it's a glorified exhibition. I mean,
and I'm glad you brought that up.
You're more power to you. I wish I was like you, but it's just, yeah.
Yeah, I think, Mike, we're probably a little bit jaded, right? I mean, sitting on this side of the camera, we're probably a little bit jaded. But you mentioned it's an exhibition game, and you mentioned obviously Michael Mayer sitting out, and deservedly so. That's an element. That's to see what does that offense look like next year without in the passing game. I mean, statistically, what was he? The account for like 60% of our passing success. So how does Tyler manage that? I mean, that was obviously Drew's, kind of binky throughout the course of the season. So that's something interesting to see, is how does that develop? I mean, it's Mitch Evans going to step up? I don't think Mitch Evans is going to step up. I think we're going to find weapons outside of the tight end position. Truly, I don't think that Mitch Evans was slotted to be the guy in the way that I think Eli Raridan was supposed to be the next Michael Mayer.
Yeah, I think we'll see a lot of Holden stays for sure. Maybe a little Kane Barong. I don't know. We'll see.
Probably not.
What's that?
Probably not a lot of Kane Barong, but yeah, I'm with you.
I can just already see it now. If Tyler does struggle, he didn't have Mayer, and that will be true.
I don't think I'll go there. I don't think I hope I'm not that pathetic. I don't think I'll go there.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But the critiques of Tyler are accuracy. Yes, Mike. I mean, that's the biggest one, is his lack of accuracy, and then the injury bug. Best I can tell. So Yeah, I'd love to see it. Just imagine this bowl week practice, these extra 3 weeks. He and Tobias starting
Yeah.
to sync some things up, so maybe we're going deep to Tobias over the top versus Lindsey, which is what he had to throw to early in the season. So yeah, there is some things. I'm excited just to see the gameplay and the personnel, but the game itself, part of me is rooting for Spencer Rattler. Part of me is. I'd like to see him have a nice game. Um, but yeah, I really want to see some young kids play. I do.
All right, get a few super chats and comments. Wanted to get to the first one from Hank. Appreciate the 199 says, what are the chances Dasan McCullough from IU comes to Notre Dame? I know Dasan and his younger brother Dave McCullough visited Oklahoma this past weekend. It's been a very strange thing because ever since Dylan McCullough came to Notre Dame as running backs coach in, what was that, January, February, just seemed like he's got 3 sons that, he's like, one of these guys are going to end up at Notre Dame, and there's no buzz of any of that. Now, I know his oldest, I think, is out of college football now. I think this was his last season. He's at Cincinnati, I want to say, or Indiana. Dasan just had a fantastic freshman season as a defensive end for the Hoosiers. And then Dave McCullough was a Cincy commit for a while, decommits, and was at Oklahoma this past weekend, but no offer out. I don't know what that situation is like, but it made a lot of sense for Notre Dame to go get him. It's like he's just coming off of his freshman year, Mike, so you don't see too many undergrads like that coming to Notre Dame, but you would think with his dad being on the staff, there would be some leeway there. But I don't know, not really hearing much buzz there. Any thoughts on that?
You would think. Yeah, I think, what do you have, 4.5 sacks as a true freshman playing in the Big Ten? He's got that Viper type body, that kind of long fluidity. Obviously, the genetics are there. But the frustrating part about the transfer portal, yada yada yada, is there's so much gray to it, Mike. So it's like, we understand that academics is important, but like, what are the metrics? Yeah, everything is a case by case scenario, and I know that, like,
for Notre Dame in the portal.
Correct. Yeah. So it's like, well, we can only go after grad transfers. Okay, I get that, but then everything is just done on such like a case by case basis, and it's like, like my recruitment out of high school, I graduated 147 out of 164 kids. I graduated with like a 2.7 GPA because once football got started, like I kind of stopped taking school seriously, right? But then Notre Dame was like, you need to get X score on your ACT, and I did so. But on paper, I shouldn't have been a qualifier or a kid that Notre Dame would go after. But I went to like a college prep high school, right? A private school. So they weighted my course. So much of this is smoke and mirrors and whatever. And that's a frustrating part, as like a Notre Dame alum, football alum, Notre Dame fan, is like, what are the metrics for, like, we like Dasan McCullough as a player. I would assume the hiccup or the holdup is going to be the academic. So what is the criteria? And I don't think anybody's ever been able to like present an answer. Everything's so it's so case by case.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
Did you hear Marcus Freeman say that exact thing Saturday?
No.
Like, exact thing. He was asked about, hey, are you going to be more aggressive with underclassmen? Or I'm sorry, not underclassmen, but just undergrads. And he said it's case by case, like word for word. That's what he said. So, but I think
what is that turnaround time then? So we'll use Dasan McCullough as an example. So we're interested. We take his transcripts to the Golden Dome, and then we just wait. How long until we get our answer back, right? I mean, you know what I'm saying? And meanwhile, this kid's visiting OU and all these other programs. So that's annoying.
Yeah. I think this was a good comment from Andrew. Said maybe Dasan's not coming as a Dasan. Dylan could be moving. He has high aspirations, potentially NFL. Now, I don't know like that specifically, that like Dylan is moving like right now, but I think it would be a very wise thing for a dad to say, look, if you're going to come here, Dasan, you have 4 more years or 3 more years of college football to play. I might not be here for 3 years. So go where you want to go. And if you don't want to come to Notre Dame, because I interviewed Dasan when he was a junior in high school, Notre Dame had offered him, and he didn't really give the Irish that much of a look at that point. So it's like if you like don't come to Notre Dame for me because I might not be here. Like coaches move. Like I don't think dealing.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. Yeah, yeah. And I like Andrew taking a page out of my book with the quasi conspiracy theory here. I dig it. But yeah, to your point, Coach McCullough, he has no idea whether he's going to be here. Some of that might be under his own volition, and some of that might be out of his control. I mean, that's the name of the game with coaching. But I think the Viper depth chart, and combined with the Notre Dame degree, it's not a big move from IU. I mean, it's
attractive.
You can make it pretty appealing. Yeah,
absolutely agree. Yeah. I remember talking to a running backs coach before. This was about last year, so I remember sitting down with one of them. I'm not going to say who it was, but like there was a feeling as a running backs coach, it's hard to take the jump to offensive coordinator because offensive coordinators are what typically quarterbacks coaches. So if you're a running backs coach and you have the opportunity to make a move up, you take it. It doesn't matter what it is. You take it because you could be a running backs coach for a long time until you get an OC job or a head coach job somewhere. So yeah, or maybe he likes the NFL. I don't know.
But that's part of it too. I mean, the running backs coach, it's like a corners coach. It's not that. I mean, it's not that difficult. You teach pass pro, and then the rest of it's just kind of natural ability. I in terms of like the coaching hierarchy, I don't know how much respect running backs coaches get. I just truly, yeah. It's just like, well, you can.
Who gets the most respect? Like, I want to see a tier list here or something.
Well, off the top of my head, offensively, who gets the most respect? I think O-line coaches get a ton of respect, especially if they're good. Quarterbacks coach, O-line coach. I think wide receiver, running back would be lowest on that list. Just because, again, you can plug in a true freshman running back, and they'll take that true freshman off the field on third down because he doesn't understand pass pro. I mean, so much of the running back position is just raw ability, instincts, whatever. It's the same thing as you can play a true freshman at corner.
Yeah.
It's not that complicated. It's not like a scheme thing. It's just ability takes over, truly.
And then what about defense?
Well, I would think D-line coaches tend to garner a lot of respect. And it's like you can just picture a D-line coach in your brain. I played for Greg Madison, just a salty old D-line coach. Linebackers, safety, and then corners. In terms of, I'd be like D-line, linebacker, safety, and then corner. Yeah, in terms of who am I paying the most? I'm paying my linebacker coach more than I'm paying my corners coach.
Linebackers coaches, typically defense coordinators as well.
But then, we're talking about X's and O's and then the recruiting piece. So, like, if you don't have a lot on your plate as a X's and O's guys as a running backs coach, you better be carrying a lot of weight as a recruiter.
Yeah. Folks, if you're just joining us on YouTube, please hit the thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to our channel for more content. If you have anything you want us to answer, drop a super chat. We'll get to it as soon as possible. And if you're listening via podcast, appreciate you as well. But I don't know. I've thought about the idea of just putting this on YouTube only, just to get more people to YouTube. This is our bread and butter, is the YouTube channel. The way of just audio podcast is... it's definitely not dying, but YouTube is, we just hit 20,000 subscribers. Like YouTube is really taking off.
Yeah, Mike, and real quick, I said, I kind of kidded the last time I saw you on here. All I wanted for Christmas was 20K, and just tip of the hat to you, dude, for taking this thing and really running with it. And I tell you, folks, like Mike had to drag me through the mud. Remember the first year that we did this? I kind of did this a little bit reluctantly. And then Mike would be like, come on, dude, come on, so you kind of pulled me along until I got my footing. So it's been pretty impressive.
Yeah. First year was the easiest. Second year was a little better. This year's been a breeze. Get you on. I think we did the Sundays last year though. But yeah, this was a breeze. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. I really think that, like, what our YouTube shows look like this time next year is going to be night and day. I don't know exactly what that looks like, but I just think that we hit 20K. I think we're going to get a lot more
sponsorships.
Sponsorships or
Can you reach out to Just for Men for me, bro?
we have Manscaped. I have a Manscaped box on my bed. The Manscaped was a sponsor for a minute. Just didn't quite work out. But I can hit them back up, Mike. You want Manscaped back in here?
Well, I don't know if they have beard dye. I don't need a trimmer.
Oh.
I need some. Anyway, but yeah, man, kudos to you. 20K.
Yeah.
I don't know what's the next big hurdle. Is it 50K?
I don't know, but each time we hit a new 1,000, I just update that little graphic. Thank you for 20K. Thank you for 21K. Just keep posting.
Nice. Yeah. Excellent.
Appreciate everybody for tuning in and everything. Adam B says Singer's driving the bus, but Dane says Goolsby is the bus. I think that's great.
No, Singer, yeah. In the YouTube world, dude, Singer, you are the truck. For sure. For sure. You are the truck.
Susan said, how did Mike G ever get to this show? Great little story here. I'm going to tell it as quickly as possible. When Notre Dame started recruiting a young man by the name of Thomas Fidone, I would have been spring of 2020. That was also around the time that my boss, Stu Coleman, was like, let's get this YouTube thing rolling. We had our Blue and Gold YouTube channel, like 2,000 or 3,000 subscribers at the time, but it was dead. Like 2,000 or 3,000 subscribers when your channel's dead is like 0 subscribers, because if you post a video, no one's going to watch it because of the YouTube algorithm. That's a different story for a different day. So at the time, I'm kind of reaching out to Fidone's trainer, Mike Goolsby. I'm also trying to figure out who can I get on a YouTube show for post games and stuff, and it was just perfect timing. And then I met Goolsby, and then Goolsby was our guy. I asked him, I was like, hey, would you know anyone who would be interested in this? And I was very much hoping he would say me. And he said,
yeah, you called me to interview him about him as a recruit.
Podcast,
and then
actually.
Like, yeah.
It was your tryout. I had you on the podcast.
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember that. But yeah, you were like, yeah, by the way, would you know anybody? I was like, I'll do it. And ironically, Mike, when I went to Notre Dame, I graduated from the School of Arts and Letters, and I wanted to get into journalism. But at the time, this is great recruiting by Coach Madison. So they had a school of journalism, and he's like, oh, yeah, you just go into the school of journalism. But then after my freshman year GPA, that wasn't going to happen, right? Because you had to get accepted into the school of journalism. So, 20 years later, your boy ends up, doing sports media, which is kind of what I went to school for in the first place. So, yeah, it's been a little bit serendipitous, if you will.
Spark says this is true. The two of you have never met in person. That is true. Almost happened for the spring game, but just couldn't link up. Just time.
No, yeah, dude, you were having a freaking slumber party with the Angelis or whatever you were doing. I was like, Mike, I'm at the back or wherever I was. I was like, come have a beer. And you're like, well, I don't know what you were doing.
I had to get together at Bar Louie. I had to get together with some specific clientele. Can't confirm or deny it.
You were on the clock, man. You were on the clock.
That was a business trip for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. We had a couple more super chats. Dane says, what does Goolsby think about Mayer getting snubbed on the Mackey? And then our boy Joey wanted to ask the same thing. So Mike, do you have a sound bite here on
yeah, of course he got like robbed, but no question he got robbed. Big picture, does it matter? No. If we were a better football team, he would have won that award. It's just the way it goes. I mean, I saw that, as a player, like if Notre Dame wins 10 games, you'll have 6, 7, 8 guys get drafted. If Notre Dame wins 8 games, you'll have 2, 3, 4 guys get drafted. It's just the way it goes. Guys on the best teams win the best awards. Point blank, period. But I don't think Michael Mayer cares. I really don't. I had a couple buddies. We had a FaceTime call last week. It's like, what do you think about, these are ex-football buddies in Notre Dame. Like, what do you think about Mayer? And I'm like, it's really going to come down to what he runs. I don't see him being a first-round pick in the draft.
Really?
Just because, Yeah, just because he's not what's in vogue at the position. So Kyle Pitts was your first round pick last year as a tight end. He was a 6'11" wingspan, ran 4'4" something. Michael Mayer's got a little bit shortish arms, a little bit of a barrel chest. He's more of a throwback player. So a lot of times first round picks, in my estimation, are based off of like physical potential. And I think that he's kind of maxed out in terms of his physical potential. Now, could he be a Hall of Fame NFL tight end? Sure. But I don't think he'll go in the first round. I don't think he's going to run in the 4.5s. He's going to have short arms. He's just not sexy enough in terms of like the physical potential. So yeah, he'll probably be a second round pick, something like that. And I think he'll have a tremendous NFL career. So I don't think that Mike cares about the Mackey Award, but had we won more games as a team, he probably would have won it. That's what I take. That's what I think.
Goes down as the best tight end in Notre Dame history. What do you think?
Oh, surely. Yeah. Yeah, the guys, I'm telling you, dude, I met Mike at the spring game thing, and like I got a little bit of a man crush on Michael Mayer, dude. The guy's a stud. He's an absolute stud. I don't have a bad thing to say about him. I really don't. But if you play this out, Mike, you got Mike Mayer, and then you got like Tyler Eifert. Tyler Eifert was a first round pick. Tyler Eifert was a better, different type of football player, receiving threat than Michael Mayer was. So you could see why maybe Tyler Eifert was a first round pick and maybe Mike will slip outside of the first round. But it doesn't matter. Long term, he signs a couple, 2-3 contracts. Guy knows how to get open. He's going to make an NFL team and their fan base very proud. Absolutely.
Sure. All right. Some more comments and to get to here. Lucas wants to know if any schools are recruiting you, Mike. Any since you've been in the portal here, you did tweet out recently that you were in the transfer portal.
Yeah, working through some details. Several schools have told me I got to lose like 20 pounds. So some of this is on me, but yeah, I'm optimistic, man. I'm optimistic. I got 1 year of eligibility left. Some schools looking at me as a tight end there, Mike.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we'll see. Nothing at the FBS level, obviously, but there we go.
Yeah, I was reading some of the responses to this your tweet about I'm entering the transfer portal. I thought it was hysterical. People are like, "Oh, you're going to the Athletic," and
I don't even have a subscription to the Athletic, so I doubt that's going to be the case.
All right. Anyways,
yeah, good fun.
All right. Andrew says, "Isn't that we're going back to the bowl game discussion?" Andrew, sorry we forgot to get to this a little bit earlier. But says, "Isn't this a good game, a good measuring stick game? Notre Dame was 4-0 against the ACC, 4-4 against everyone else. It's a good measuring stick for sort of this season, sort of because Mayer and Pine are out. But who cares about a measuring stick for now? It doesn't matter because next year's a whole different year." And South Carolina's a different team because, I mean, their running back just hit the portal today. It's so different that to me it's just an exhibition game. I really feel that.
I agree. Yeah, that you have to try to pull together a storyline here, ACC, what have you. I mean, yeah, I get it. I appreciate it. But no, it's an exhibition game. And the question is, it comes down to, Mike, as I've been saying, is what are we going to put on display? What are we actually going to exhibit? Kind of the same ho-hum, 8-4 type defense, kind of bend, don't break? Are we going to kind of roll out some of these flashier, younger players that you tend to think have a little bit more upside than what we've seen throughout the course of the season? So yeah. Fingers crossed.
Andrew, definitely appreciate the super chat and all the
support. No
doubt. All right, I do want to get into a little bit of actually, we're going to get back to Craig's super chat here because that kind of ties into our next conversation. But Houston Linehan says, when will the NIL and transfer portal get under control? Now, I have no answer to that. I don't know when, but Mike, Would you say it's out of control at this point?
Yes. Yeah, it's Mike, for $100, do you know who the president of the NCAA is for $100? Do you know who he or she is, their name?
Mark Emmert?
Couldn't tell you. But yeah, this is it's lawless. And I'll say I work for a Fortune 500 company. And so some of that, like, you have to do these like ethics training and like these little, videos so they can check the box that like I watch my sexual harassment video, I watch my ethics training, these little videos, and it's just like so much of what's going on in the transfer portal, it's unethical. You've got tampering. I mean, it is bonkers, dude. And it's just like whoever's at the helm just completely stepped away. I've never seen anything like it. And how quickly this took hold. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then you're like, you want to support the players, Mike, for, I guess just, taking hold of their own situation. And then I follow a ton of coaches on Twitter, and then you'll have coaches on Twitter that are like anti-transfer portal, but then they're also in the transfer portal.
Right.
So people are kind of talking out of both sides of their mouth. But then you've got like the number one team in the country, Georgia, like they don't mess with the transfer portal. So that's part of their DNA and part of their culture. So Notre Dame's going to have to like dip their toe into it to a certain extent. The portal we're talking.
Yeah.
But then also probably ethically kind of have a higher standard. That's how I sort of think about it with Notre Dame. And then NIL, I really think that's the bigger problem. Like look at DJ Uiagalelei from Clemson, right? So he gets $1 million, couple $1 million from Bojangles, and he's in the transfer portal. Like, so is that a good investment by Bojangles? Absolutely not. This private donor money, that's a bigger problem. I think endorsement deals are one thing, but this private donor money is so gross, dude.
Yeah, it's just what everyone's been doing, and now you sort of are allowed to do it, but not really.
But I'll say this, if Notre Dame wins, like if we figure out the portal, we figure out NIL, the portal more specifically, and we start winning, like we'll all be fans of it. Yeah. Like I came on after we lost to SC, and I'm like, yeah, SC bought a football team. They got 19 transfers. You read the comments in the YouTube like, screw you, we didn't buy a football team. You guys lost. It's like, no, that's exactly what you did, bro. Like you bought a Heisman Trophy winner. You bought a first-round draft pick, a wide receiver. Like you bought a football team.
Yeah.
Now you won. But yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
So
it's wild.
So as you say this, I'm thinking, I follow, England or English soccer, and European soccer, and I'm a Liverpool fan. We're owned by the Boston Red Sox owners, and they're very frugal with their money. This is an investment for them. And it's just like, they won't penny up and they won't pony up and just spend a lot of money. Meanwhile, Manchester City, who's dominated the Premier League, has these like Saudi owners or something, blood money, and they're just spending all this, and everyone wants to have those owners, but not the morals behind that. So like Liverpool gets sold and they have super rich, wealthy owners where it's questionable where they get their money. You're still going to be happy about that winning. You're just going to kind of turn a blind eye to it. It's kind of how NIL and the portal is. I just want to throw that out there. But with the portal, Mike, it's not like the transfer portal. I think 10, 20 years ago, you could transfer, but it's now the big difference is it's just the ease of transferring, right, Mike? There's no conference restrictions. The school can't tell you where you can't go. And I think the bigger thing than the portal has been the one-time transfer rule, because now you just get a freebie year. And then you get a second freebie year that you don't have to sit out if you transfer as a graduate, So you get essentially 2 free times to transfer. You're not going to hear much about players sitting out a year ever again, because then you just get some waiver in the NCAA. It just gives you a waiver to not sit out a year. All right, Mike, that was my rant.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just, it's the whole thing. It's wild. I mean, you've got and I was before we got on here, I was looking up the rules of the transfer portal because everybody kind of talks about it, but nobody
Yeah.
really knows like some of the specifics. But yeah, I do think it kind of takes away from, and this is, I had 2 cups of coffee in the NFL, and the mindset in the NFL is a little bit different in that was my experience. It was like guys are trying to stay healthy and guys are trying to get paid, and it's like if they win, great, but as long as I can cash these checks, that's ultimately what matters. And it seems like that's where college is kind of shifting into that, you know. Um, and then you just know as like an NFL player, you're like, I'm one bad play, I'm one bad series from getting cut. And it's like that's tending to it seems like it's kind of bleeding into college. And then I think about well, the XFL's coming back, right? Was it the USFLs? Like I saw a commercial for on the
They're
TV.
back.
So I'm
They
like,
played last year. Yeah.
yeah. So it's like that's gonna be a thing too, where you've got all these kids where it's like, well, I'm just gonna go. There's just a lot going on, man. I can't kind of wait to see it. This is another one of those instances where you hit the fast forward button, see where we're at with this in 5 years. But somebody, did we figure out who the president of the NCAA is?
Mark Emmert. Yeah, Mark Emmert.
Okay.
That's right.
Well, Mr. Mark needs to there has to be some sort of boundaries here.
Yeah.
I mean, there has to, yeah.
So,
because, yeah, go ahead.
In basketball recruiting, Mike, you obviously can pick a school, or you can go straight to the G League out of high school, or you can go overseas. So you'll see kids posting top 5s, Louisville, Duke, Kentucky, G League, or Croatia or something. What if the USFL was able to do that and take guys out of high school?
Well, I think they did it before. There's absolutely a precedent. And if some of these, you could drop the name in the comments, but there was that, that 30 for 30, the best it ever was. It was the very first 30 for 30 that ever came out. There's going to be a 30 for 30 about this, Mike, at some point. But Marcus Dupree, yeah, I mean, he went and played in the USFL, left Oklahoma, then, found his way back to the NFL. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of that. So as I've always said, just to kind of try and get my arms around this, you have conversations with people at bars or whatever, and it's just like, well, I'm an Ohio State fan, or I'm a Tennessee fan, or whatever. It's like, why wouldn't more people root for Notre Dame? Because they tend to do things the right way in terms of we graduate our kids, they actually have to go to class or whatever. And I just feel like that the way the NIL and the transfer portal thing is shaping up, you would hope that coming out of this, that just more people glom onto Notre Dame. Because we have some sort of a ethical kind of compass, whereas everything else seems to be just a complete shit show, dude.
Yeah. Joey, appreciate it. Super Chat says when Tim Brown won the Heisman in '87, the team went 8-4 in the regular season, lost A&M in the bowl game. Joey, appreciates another Super Chat. So I think Joey's now put 3 Super Chats in at about $12 or so. Joey is a member of blueandgold.com. And it's just $10. So if you're dropping Super Chats, just think that you could just spend $10 and you get access to blueandgold.com for until the start of the next football season, end of August. That is when you're access. So, I mean, just look today alone. All right. I'm doing this with you. There's no editing going here. This is the amount of articles we posted today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 articles. Well, the Goolsby Show is one of them. So let's just say 10. 10 articles today, and that's just in one day. And who knows? Maybe we're going to hire more writers to get even more content. So go to blueandgold.com, folks. If you love this banter back and forth, Goolsby's on the message board as well.
Oof.
Which leads me to
talk about a cesspool. Jesus. No, I'm kidding.
I was about to say, geez, Mike, you're in there.
No, we're talking about the transfer portal, everything, and all.
Dude, the message board it's like that car crash you can't just look away from, and I mean that in a good way. But you posted on the board recently, Buckner versus, let's say, Hudson Card.
Yeah.
Or Buckner versus the quarterbacks out there. I think the Coastal Carolina kid who entered the portal today is really good. I mean, he has some incredible stats. Devin Leary. There's some pretty good portal quarterbacks out there, but you're a Buckner guy. You're going the Buckner route. So I want to get your thoughts on that, as well as kind of tying Craig's super chat here. So if we get a transfer QB, and with the other two QBs coming in, so what you're talking about, Minchie and Carr, do you see Buckner transfer out? So Mike, I'm just going to give you the floor here. You can kind of go wherever you want. I would say no, I don't see Buckner going anywhere right now.
I don't see Buckner going anywhere, and I don't see I think both of those kids, with their backgrounds, their upbringings, I think they value education, their families, etc. I don't think either one of those kids are going to leave Notre Dame. I like Tyler Buckner, and I'm not going to apologize for it. Like, everybody's on this Hudson Card from Texas. And, kind of that was the post that I made on the message board, was just apples to apples. Watch Card's film and then watch Buckner's film. And, and I did it to kind of troll the message board just to get the feedback, and I can kind of step away. But people have very, very strong feelings about a quarterback that played at Texas, and it's like, he's the second coming of Christ. It's bizarre, borderline bizarre. And then how strongly people feel that Tyler isn't the guy based off of a game and a half worth of film to evaluate. So I still think that Tyler's got overall the best athlete that we've had at the position in years and years and years. I think he's got a super live arm. You could say what he wants about his accuracy. But I just don't understand where, if it's Hudson Card, if it's you name the transfer quarterback, folks have in their mind, they've already anointed him as like the next Joe Montana or whatever. And it's strange to me. It really is. It's strange. Like, that Buckner is that bad. But it's the same group of people that were pro Pine when, like, Cohen was your starter, right? So it's like, there's no, what's the word I'm looking for, Mike? Like, there's no accountability in terms of people's opinions at the quarterback. They can change with the weather. Whereas at least you're an Angeli guy, I'm a Buckner guy, and I'm willing to die on that hill.
I'm an everybody guy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you're a sweetheart.
Eternal optimist. Quote unquote, Mike Goolsby.
Yeah, for sure.
Appreciate the super chats. Milton fan says, why isn't Mookum's ranking risen? Thoughts on him? Mike, are you familiar with Armel Mookum at all?
So I thought we might get into the 2023 class today, and I just kind of quick reviewed it before we jumped on here. And no, I'm not at all familiar with him. I don't remember him committing. Forgive me, I don't.
Yeah, well, he had flipped from Stanford to Notre Dame in August without any notice. No, didn't even post that he had an offer from Notre Dame. So it is what my sources called an insta flip. So, just
what is he? What position is he, and where is he from?
6'3.5", 250 pounds, 3-5 technique kind of guy. Probably an interior player. From Canada now, and then moved down to Woodbury Forest to play for that high school. I believe it's like prep school, or not a prep school, boarding school, something like that. I don't have super strong thoughts about Armel Mookum. Like, he just kind of looks like a raw player on tape. I don't remember if there's senior film out there.
Well, we will absolutely, Mike, you can hold me to it. We will do probably post bowl game, really do a deeper dive into these kids.
After Sunny Day. We'll do a show after Sunday. Let's pop on his tape. Mike, can you zoom in? Armel Mookum. How about a little defensive lineman? We'll watch a couple minutes.
So where's he at now? He's from Canada. He's where now?
Virginia.
No, he's twitchy, yeah.
This is great podcast content, but go to YouTube.
He kind of reminds me of number 9, the Adamiola number 9. Is that Jason or Justin? I can never remember.
Yeah,
something like that. Kind of a depth guy. He's a little shifty. I just don't like interior. I don't like defensive linemen. So if he's listed at 6'3", is he 6'2"? I mean, the Adamiolas look to be.
He was pictured next to Freeman and Golden and towered over him today.
Okay, nice. Yeah, he's got a little bit of burst. Again, I'm watching on an iPhone 8 here, folks.
iPhone 8.
Yeah, dude, I'm not fancy. Yeah, he's twitchy. He kind of takes away his blocking surface. Like he's got a little bit of know-how. So yeah, I would say he'd be a rotational guy. I like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get out. Yeah, I want to leave a little bit of meat on the bone for this, signing day kind of breakdown.
Yeah. Certainly
That's
will.
fair.
And I'm working on trying to get a big guest on for our signing day show. I'm shooting for the highest. So that's on a Wednesday night. So that's when me and
Who's a big guest, Mike? Like a Tom Lemming? Like who's a big guest?
bigger than Tom Lemming. I could get Tom Lemming on our show every day of the week if I wanted to.
Whoa,
Tom Lemming,
dude,
boy.
big timer. Like who? Who's big? Who's bigger than Tom Lemming?
I can't say because if it's not going to work, I don't want to say.
Well, yeah. Well, you just
All right,
put
I'll
yourself in a
text
pickle.
you. Wait, well, you're doing this on your phone. I'll text you the name, but you can't say anything.
I won't.
Good?
Well, I won't see it till after the show. Yeah, no, that's
All right.
great.
Okay. I think we had another super chat as we wrap up soon here. No, we are caught up. A hint? No, there's no hints. You just have to see. We'll just have to see. Mike, I think we've covered all of our topics today. So if folks
Yeah.
have any other super chats, get them in now. But otherwise, Goolsby, any final thoughts? As
Yeah, I
we wrap
probably
up?
won't see it till after the game. Do the post game show.
Well, signing day is next
Okay.
Wednesday. So I don't know if you want to do like a Monday
We
after.
should do a marathon. We should do a marathon. Signing day marathon episode. But yeah, I'll see you then. We'll brush up on these commits leading up to that. I don't know, man. Earlier this afternoon, I was thinking about Notre Dame football, and I was like, I'm optimistic, but we lose a couple commits. We don't really know what we have at the quarterback room. We're sort of like praying that we get a grad transfer, a transfer at the quarterback position, but we don't really know what that's going to look like. Seems like there's a lot of things up in the air, more uncertainty at this point, almost a year to the day of Freeman's tenure. There's more uncertainty a year into this thing than I thought there would be. And I can't quite quantify that, but I don't feel great. Maybe I'll feel better after the signing day. I'll feel better after getting a chance to watch the bowl game. But yeah, it just seems like it feels like we're a little bit lagging behind in the NIL, the transfer portal thing. I'm a little bit more concerned than I think I thought I would be. I'll put it that way. And it's sort of a nondescript kind of throwaway comment, but I think if we if we come on this bowl game and have strong quarterback play, that'll put a lot of, I guess, concerns to bed and make me feel a little bit better. But yeah, the state of the program, it just feels a little. I don't know, Mike.
Transition?
Kind of. I'm not sure. Just it doesn't feel like we're on solid footing. Lately, I can't. Maybe Dion took a little bit of Marcus Freeman's shine in terms of the recruiter and the charisma. I can't quite but it's just something that hit me earlier today. I was like, man, I'm a little bit more concerned than I thought I would be a year into this thing.
Interesting. All right, we did have a few super chats, or a couple, so we'll get to these real quick. Joey, appreciate more of the support. Says, this is just my opinion. Buckner is going to surprise all those haters. We will see some backyard football with him behind center. I hope so. That's what you want, not so much design runs. We saw that with Caleb Williams and USC.
Amen.
Appreciate it, Joey. Milton fan says, in transfer portal, 1 year, no NIL, incoming school pays scholarship back to leaving school. That'll be a question for Mark Emmert. I don't know. Any thoughts on this, Mike?
Well, folks, if you're gonna drop a super chat, make it a coherent sentence. For me, I'm not that bright.
I think he's saying if you
transfer portal 1 year,
go to the transfer portal, you
Yeah.
don't get NIL money for a year, and the incoming school pays for the scholarship that the old school paid. I guess is the question.
I'm not sure. Sorry, Milton fan.
Yeah, Susan, but appreciate it, Milton fan, and all the support and all of our shows. Can we offer a kind word for Mike Leach? Seriously, hoping the guy gets better. I haven't followed the story too much, just to, saw the release by Mississippi State today, and the guy's in critical condition. Just
He
one
had
of
a
those things.
massive grabber. They had a
Yeah,
massive grabber. And none of us are getting younger. I just had a conversation with one of my dear friends about we're both getting older. We're in our 40s, kind of taking care of yourselves. That's all. I think that's when you see a guy like Mike Leach have a massive heart attack. It's like, hey, man, you kind of going into the new year, check in with yourself, maybe set some goals for your own personal health. But
yeah,
yeah, hopefully something like that resonates with all of us.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Appreciate it, Susan, and Mike Leach, and our thoughts and prayers here at Blue and Gold. Difference between this class and a BK class, and then Dane said, if Peyton Bowen leaves. I mean, I think you look at the receiver position is just so good for
Sure.
Notre Dame, but also Notre Dame had some pretty good receiver classes under Brian Kelly. It's an on paper thing right now. I mean, the receiver class is one of the best Notre Dame's had. But also
I want to. That's a great question. That's a great question, as opposed to me bullshitting my way through it. I want to kind of look at that. What's the difference between this class, Freeman's, first class all the way through, and a Kelly class? When we do that signing day show, I want to touch on that. But yeah, I think the receiver group is great. I think Minchie as a quarterback is something different than I think what Kelly would kind of traditionally go after on paper. But I don't know. My favorite player in the class, though, dude, I was watching film, is that Jagasaw dude.
Yeah.
He is so good. And not taking anything away from Peyton Bowen, but he's my favorite player in the class.
Over Rico Flores, huh?
Look at that kid. I'm just telling you, man. That's a future first rounder. Like probably play at guard, move out to tackle at some point. Oh, he's a monster.
Play Notre Dame. Born to play at Notre Dame. The sweetest kid. The sweetest, nicest young man. One of my favorite recruits I've ever covered.
Who might that remind you of Quentin Nelson a little bit in terms of the on-field, off-field demeanor? Quentin Nelson's a sweetie pie.
Yeah, I didn't cover Big Q, so I don't know. But he's great. He's great.
Yeah, so I look forward to getting into that.
It's a great super chat. Don't know yet.
Great question. I literally wrote it down. I want to touch on that a few weeks from now.
Is Brian Kelly the surprise guest? No. We had another super chat from Houston, but I'm not seeing. Okay, Mike, I'll make it easy. And this is it. All right, this is our last comment. So don't drop any more super chats. We got to get out of here. If you could have anyone on your show, who'd be in your top 5? What do you think, Mike?
Houston's asking me.
I don't know. Well, it was Mike, so I think we can both take it. I mean, rest his soul. Keith Jackson, I think, would be up there for us.
Okay, well, I'll see your Keith Jackson, and I'll raise you a loose emoji.
I was going there next. I would love to have Marcus Freeman. If we could throw Marcus Freeman on here. So he'll be 3. Keith Jackson, loose emoji, Marcus Freeman.
I'd like to put Coach Reese out there. I think Coach Reese would be up there for me. Pour beer. Just really kind of get into it.
Dude, we can make this. We can make all these happen. We'll try. I know a guy or two.
Same. But yeah, that's 4. Name an ex-teammate of mine. Put it that way. Throw a dart. Name an ex-teammate of mine. Preston
Anthony
Jackson,
Fasano.
Derek Curve. Yeah, Fasano, Brady Quinn, Ryan Harris, Justin Tuck, you name it. Any of those guys would be.
A lot of Lou Holtz in the chat. Ashton Pollard in the chat.
Bob Davey would be great, dude. I'd get Greg Madison, the guy that recruited me to Notre Dame. I think if you brought Greg Madison in retirement on a show to talk about recruiting, et cetera, breaking down these classes, that'd be epic because he is a world-class recruiter.
Yeah, what about Ty Willingham?
Ty's busy playing golf, dude. Can't be bothered. Can't be bothered.
What would you say to him if he jumped on our show?
I don't really have beef with Tyrone Willingham so much as I do my linebacker coach from back in the day, Bob Simmons. I don't have a good thing to say about him. I don't.
Well, since you mentioned him, Bob's backstage. Bob, can you hear?
I don't know what he's up to. I don't know what he's up to. But yeah, I just have very negative feelings about that man. Yeah, he was never a fan of mine, and I wasn't a fan of his. But he was, he was part of Willingham's staff. So whatever. But yeah, let's get to the signing day show. Let's hold our breath and get to signing day and go from there.
All right. Well, folks, definitely appreciate you sticking around to the end of the show. Make sure you drop a thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you have not done so, and head over to blueandgold.com for all your coverage of Notre Dame athletics and podcast audience. As always, recommend you get you over to our YouTube channel. Check out all of our videos because we do post a lot more on YouTube than we do on our podcast channel. So check it all out. And yeah, folks, appreciate you all, and we'll catch you next time.